Salut tout le monde! It's almost Valentine's Day, Valentine's Day. And is it not, with Valentine's Day coming up, the perfect moment to spill the nitty-gritty details of some of my most awkward and embarrassing dating moments in France. Some are cultural differences that got me into some very awkward situations, and others are more European problems or challenges that I should have been a bit more careful about, especially when I was trying to impress someone for the first time. So grab your popcorn, and please, if you have not subscribed to the channel and hit the bell notification, you know what to do. Do it now so that you don't miss out on any amazing content that I'm throwing at you every single week. I am also very much looking forward to hearing your embarrassing dating moments in the comments below. Please don't be shy, people. I'm bearing it all out for all of you, so I can't wait to hear from you. C'est parti, mes amis. This is a moment that still has me cringing when I think about it. I like to call it the curse of the bees. So when you're not French, it can be a little bit awkward to know who you do the bees with, how many times, at what moment, and it can be very embarrassing when you go in for the bees and someone else goes in for the handshake, and then you're doing like the bees and the handshake at the same time, right? This is a problem all expats have. So it was my first year in France, I'm 22, living life to the fullest, and I was kind of into this cute guy named Simon. And Simon was part of our group of friends, like at the time, guy friends, I have to specify because it took me like years to make French girlfriends here. Another issue I know other expats have as well. Anyways, he had this huge party. I was there. I kind of over-enjoyed the wine. We ended up having a little make-out session, and I ended up crashing at his place that night. Totally PG, but I stayed over. So the next morning, he drops me off at my place in his car, and it's like 10 a.m. in the morning. You know, that morning after, you look ridiculous, your breath is disgusting. Like, you're not gonna have like a daytime smooch with someone. Even if you guys had kind of admitted you liked each other the night before, nothing's like solid, right? If it had been an American guy, I probably would have gone in for just like a hug, and then I would have said bye and left, and it would have been like very smooth. But because the French don't really hug, I went in for what to me was the next most like intimate thing without just like waving bye, which was like, I don't know, a peck on the cheek. You know, to me, this was kind of like a quick, thanks for last night, had a good time. Like, obviously, we'll keep in touch. Except when I went in for the kiss on the cheek, he thought I was going in for the bees. So then his whole body kind of like tensed and froze up. And then when I went in for the bees, then he went really quickly to the other side, and then we ended up beesing. And then I just kind of got out in the car and I was like, bye. And it was really awkward. So not only was the drop off pretty awkward and I walked away feeling awkward, but the worst thing about it is the guy took it, like Simon felt like that was my way of saying to him that I wasn't interested. That by giving him a bees after we had already made out was kind of my way of being like, friend zoning you. That was like a one night, maybe a little bit too much wine thing. I'm not interested. And so the guy ghosted me for like weeks, and I had no idea until I ran into him into a bar like weeks later, and he admitted to me like, yeah, you know, it wasn't really cool what you did. And I'm like, what I did? What about you? You never responded back to my message. And he's like, well, I wasn't interested in being friends. And I was like, what? So not only was that moment just really awkward, but then the whole aftermath that happened was really awkward. It is something I have never forgotten. So lesson learned, guys, cheek kisses are not a thing once you've already smooched someone if you're still interested in them. Okay, quick pause, and then I will get back to bearing my dating soul with all of you, but it is almost Valentine's Day, and whether you love Valentine's Day and you're celebrating with someone romantically, or it's more like a Galentines Day and you're out with your best friends, in any case, it's important to treat someone else or treat yourself yourself. So I partnered with Ana Luisa on this video for Valentine's Day, not only because j'adore their carbon neutral jewelry and their entire sustainability mission is kick butt, but on top of that, they are having a massive Valentine's Day sale, 15% off of all of their jewelry on their entire site. The sale lasts until V-Day, so as our favorite Bridgerton crowd would say, make haste, get on it. Let me show you guys what I got myself because yes, I am a huge fan of treat yourself for the holidays motto. First, I love dainty things and I have quite an obsession with gold right now. And I got this, you can see gold necklace here. It's called the Nugget. I'm gonna go up close for you and maybe pull my hair back a little bit so that it's easier for you guys to see. So it's called a nugget and it's like a real teardrop shaped. And what's kind of funny is that we call my daughter Eleanor Nugget. We actually call her our Nugs. So I really like the necklace as well for that. But it's gold and it's really nice because it's really dainty. I think it's easy to stack with like other necklaces that I have. And it's pretty unisex. So if you've got a male partner or friend that you want to gift to, I think that does the job as well. This little guy is on sale for 63 euros right now. So I'm wearing two hoops here in my ears. I love the layering look with hoops. So this first one is a geometric hoop and it's the octo in my first holes here. You can see on this side as well. I have them. And then in the second hole, I've got the Suzanne Mini, which have like little crystals in them instead of being just gold. And it's really nice. I've actually had these Suzanne ones in my ears nonstop for the last like 6 weeks. I think I got them around Christmas. I have very sensitive ears and I have had absolutely no pain, no infections, no problem. I think that they wear really easily. And again, I'm a huge fan of the stacked look so you can see. And to wrap it up, I've got a Chloe ring on my finger. I like this one because it's pretty much like a woven, like vintage kind of ring. And it's pretty like antique-y, but I find it still to be like different but understated. So I'm kind of into like understated with a small twist. I don't like it to be super classic, but I don't like it to stand out too much either. And I find that most of their jewelry at Ana Luisa is exactly like that. So that's pretty fun. And this guy is on sale for 50 euros as well. So this is my second time actually partnering with Ana Luisa. I love their jewelry. As I said, they have a really amazing sustainability mission and they have a great sale going on right now for Valentine's Day. 15% off their entire site. I put all the information, the link to their website in the description below. So don't hesitate to go and check it out. Treat somebody else or treat yourself. All right, back to my soul-bearing dating stories. I feel like this next awkward moment has got to have happened to other foreigners in France, so I'm looking forward to hearing your comments below. It was the first serious boyfriend that I had in France, so I wasn't really up to date yet on some of the cultural differences that you can have when you're dating someone from, from France, and there weren't all of these YouTube channels to go and listen to other people's experience, so I was completely blind going into it. After about 6 weeks of dating this guy, texting a lot, seeing each other, spending a lot of time together, I was finally like, okay, I'm ready to be exclusive. I think I like this guy. When I go on dates with other guys, like I'm always comparing them to him. I don't really want to see other people anymore. Like I'm ready to be this guy's girlfriend. And he hadn't really asked me yet. And so I wasn't really sure where we were standing, but I was like, whatever, I will be the independent woman and I'm gonna go ask him to be my boyfriend and to be exclusive. So I asked him one night if he wants to be my boyfriend. And the response I got was not exactly as romantic as I thought, because he looks at me and says, "Aren't I already your boyfriend?" Technically, no. You never asked me to be your boyfriend. He was like, "Wait, so you haven't been exclusive?" I'm like, well, no, nothing serious, but I mean, I've gone on a couple other dates and I didn't realize that we were exclusive. You never asked me if we were exclusive. I won't go into the details because I'm sure you can all imagine it was a fumbling of cultural differences and issues the entire night. We ended up staying together for years, so it wasn't the be-all, end-all argument or thing that happened that defined the whole relationship. However, lesson learned, in general in France, friends, there's not really this whole official asking someone. As soon as you're hanging out, smooching in daylight, you know, you're kind of together unless somebody's very vocal about the fact that they don't see it that way. So better just to assume that you're in a relationship with someone if you're seeing them on a regular basis than not assume and wait for them to ask. I'm quite a lover of mini skirts. I very much love the French idea of, you know, show a bit of leg, but then maybe wear like a turtleneck with it. And I'm actually literally wearing a mini skirt right now. I love them. This is normally not an issue. However, it was an issue on a very fail of a date. This was a one date, we never saw each other again, and I'm not sure if some of it had something to do with the way it ended with my miniskirt. Bear with me as I set this scene up for you, because you have to understand that in France and in lots of Europe, there's not a lot of spaces in restaurants, right? So a lot of restaurants have long benches, and then what they do is they push up little two-person tables very close together in front of the benches. And you could seat a party of 6 together there because the tables are so close, or you can seat parties of 2 along the entire, you know, bench and all the different tables. And the thing is because it's a long bench and with different people that don't know each other, the only way to get into your seat when you're in a middle table is the waiter comes and pulls out the table, and then you kind of go in and you sit down, and then he pushes the table back in. So I had my date, and there were not sparks, and by the end of the date, I think both of us were just kind of ready to go, and we were done making small talk. And these tables were actually very heavy, and it kind of required like the waiter to come and help pull the table because they were these very heavy metal tables. And the waiter just wasn't coming over. We all know French service, right? I was sitting in the bench, and I was jammed in by couples, like at least 3 or 4 parties on my left and 3 and 4 on my right. So I couldn't ask people to move so I could scooch out on the bench. So we made small talk, we waited, the waiter never came over, and so finally I was just like, you know what? It's fine, I'm just gonna crawl under the table. Please, someone out there tell me that they have done this before, because sometimes I don't know if this is normal that I did this or if I should be really embarrassed that I crawled under the table. But anyways, I decided to crawl under the table. I didn't think about the fact though when I did it that I was in my mini skirt. So I get down on the floor and crawl under the table, and then of course I stand up too quickly and hit my head on the table. But then on top of that, as I'm standing up, I'm very awkward about it, and my skirt ends up riding up. You know how high-waisted can kind of go up and down pretty easily? Well, it ends up riding pretty far up as I'm standing up, to the point where it's no longer a mini skirt, it's like a micro mini, and it is not covering my whole tush anymore. And because I had hit my head before and made a loud bang, everybody had looked over. So I'm flashing not just the guy that I don't care about seeing anymore, but still, I'm also flashing the entire restaurant. And to just humiliate me a little farther, France, this is the moment where the waiter shows up and then scolds me for not being more patient and waiting for him to come and help move the table. Because yes, France likes to kick you when you're down. I'm going to wrap it up with a very embarrassing mistake that I blame on France, but technically could work anywhere, I think. France is known for its ridiculous amount of terraces and restaurants, and the fact that you can almost always, no matter what time of the year it is or time of the day, find a spot and sit outside to eat. But I love this, and so does all the other 60 million plus people that live in France. So terrace space is competitive to say the least. So much like my previous flashing story, the terrace story is kind of similar in the sense that all the tables were smashed together. It wasn't necessarily in a bench form, but tables are very close, and I was sitting in between 2 strangers and different groups on either side of me. I think it's good to mention here that there is nothing more uncomfortable than being on a first date next to people that you don't know that are so close that when they're not talking to someone else, they're listening to your conversations. Someone else, I know this happens to you, where you feel like people are eavesdropping, and when you're already like struggling to chat with someone that you don't really know yet and get to know them and know that people are listening to your awkward conversations, double standard of awkward. The woman on my right wasn't necessarily listening to my conversation at this specific moment, but she was smoking. And very much like the French stereotype that we know, she's very close to me and she's smoking and the wind is blowing it into my face. And so I'm kind of uncomfortable and not enjoying it. So I start kind of, doing this with my hand and trying to blow the smoke back out of my face and more like it back into her direction. Well, after about the 5th time of aggressively swatting the smoke away, I accidentally swat the pint of beer sitting right in front of me at the table. And of course, it doesn't pour onto me and it doesn't pour onto the woman who's smoking in my face. It pours straight into the lap of the guy in front of me. And then to top it off, it then rolls off the table and smashes to pieces on the ground. So then of course, we had to stand up, they had to move the tables, the waiter had to come over, he had to clean up all the glass shards. The guy had to go blot some of the beer off of his crotch, and I, of course, had to then also apologize to the woman sitting next to me, smoking, that had to move her table. I mean, it was just... My tip is to always try to find a corner table on a terrace. You at least can face towards everybody, you're sure nobody's listening to your conversation, and you've got a little bit more room. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed some of my embarrassing dating moments in France. Don't forget about the Ana Luisa sale. It's 15% off all of their pieces on their website. Go check it out. All the info's in the description. I cannot wait to hear your stories about your embarrassing dating moments, whether it's in France or anywhere else. Please leave them below in the comments. I'm looking forward to hearing from everybody, and I will see you all next week. Bisous!